We're continuing on with Chapter 12. This is Part D. I'm on the top of page 373. We've already built our shorter box. We built the taller one where you only see the two sides because the top of the box is above the horizon line. And now we're going to work on placing some objects that were already pre-created for us, and we're going to pick those up and place them onto the perspective grid and change them to being perspective. So what we're going to do next, and this is really not a difficult thing to do, this is a way to create objects then and pull them onto the grid rather than just building them right directly in the grid. So what we're going to do is, with the perspective selection tool, if you should still have that selected, if not, go back and reselect it, and you're going to select the right grid, which is the number 3 grid, and we are going to select one of these red flowers now with using the perspective grid tool, not the selection tool, and just grab that, click and drag, and pull that onto the side of the first box. And see, it just pops right up on there. Now, because that was created for us originally prior to creating the rest of the boxes that we did, this is behind in the layer stacking order. So what we're going to need to do with that, if you look at it in the layers, it's way down at the bottom. So what we have to do now with that still selected is to arrange and bring to front. That puts that in on the very top layer, or the very top sub layer rather, in that perspective layer. So we have now moved this to the front of the box. If you zoom in on the boxes, we can now pick this up and we can scale this. So with the perspective selection tool, press the Shift plus either Option in Mac or Alt in Windows and drag the upper right corner of the flower towards the center, and you're going to get the dialog box. We want to actually shrink this down so that the width is approximately 1.5 inches. So we're not taking it down much, just a little bit. Okay, then go ahead and save after you've completed that. Again, if you've had any difficulty with this section and you need to redo something, go back and do a revert on it before you save the file. Moving on to page 374, there are sometimes when you want to draw or add content that is not meant to be in perspective, and what you can do then is select No Active Grid in the Plane Switching widget to draw without regard to the grid. So we're going to add a rectangle to the background of the ad. So go up to View, and you're going to Fit Artboard in Window, so we can get the whole thing. Click the Layers panel and select the background layer. Let me collapse the perspective layer. We want the background layer, and you're going to need to unlock it. And picking up the rectangle tool, click No Active Grid. So we're going to have No Active Grid, which is you just clicking off to the side, and now we are not working with the grid at all. Starting from the upper left corner of the artboard, you're going to drag down to the lower right. That's going to create a rectangle. You want to go right on Intersect and drag down. Remember, you've got your smart guides on, so you'll see Intersect and Intersect. And when you've got the panel with the rectangle still selected, you want to click the Graphic Styles panel down here, and position the pointer over the thumbnail that shows background and select that style, and Object, Arrange, and Send to Back. which allows you to see that, that other flower that was on the back already. Now, back to the Layers panel, click the Edit column to, again, lock that layer so that we don't work with the background. And again, select the perspective layer, and then you can hide that panel. Click off to the side to cancel. Click off to the side. You may have to pick up something else, or you can go up to select and deselect, just so that you don't have anything selected again. The next thing we're going to work with is adding text in perspective. You can't add text directly to a perspective plane while the grid is visible. You can, however, bring text into perspective after you create it off of the perspective grid. So we are going to put some text in and then edit it in perspective. We want to select, of course, the Type tool, and if you'll click and type in blah, Nouvelle, and enter and type in fem. With the Type tool, you're going to select the type. Oh, there we go. And change the font to Trajan Pro 3, or if you don't have that, find something else. Trajan Pro 3. And we want the regular font style, and we're going to change the font size to 20 points. So I've got 21. I'm going to change that to 20. In the Align, click that to align the text to center, and select the Perspective Selection tool in the Tools panel. And if you press the number 3 on your keyboard, that will also select the right grid. See, this is now selected. Drag the text below the red flower on the right side of the larger box. With that object still selected, double-click the text with the Perspective Selection tool, which will put you in isolation mode. And notice that your Type tool is automatically selected. If you double-click on the word fem to select it, you can then change the type size from 20 to 24. And if you click on the word character, you'll get the dialog box, and you can change the leading from the 28.8 to 22. You can type it in, or you can use the drop down and use the up and down arrows. Press the Escape key to get out of the panel, and then select all of your text and change the fill color in the control panel to white. With your Selection tool next, use your Escape tool to get out of that. Pick up your Selection tool and double-click on the artboard to exit the isolation mode. We're moving on to page 376, which is moving a plane to match an object. When you want to draw or bring objects in perspective at the same depth or height as an existing object, like the tall box, you can bring the corresponding grid to the desired height or depth. So next we're going to move the right grid plane to the same depth as the right side of the tall box and add more text to it. With the Selection tool, you're going to select the white text La Nouvelle Femme that's off on the upper left corner of your artboard. Choose Object, Transform, Rotate. In the Rotation dialog box, change the angle to 90 degrees and select Preview. See how it rotates, and then say OK. Most of the time it's best to rotate content before you bring it into perspective. Picking up the Perspective Selection tool, you're going to select the right face of the tall box. Choose Object, perspective. Move plane to match object. Now we're going to be able to add to the right grid plane. It's at the same depth as the right side of the box. So still with the perspective tool, click on that rotated text and bring it, and you can see how it changes, and drag it to the lower left corner on that right panel of the box. Now, again, it's behind, so we're going to have to go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. To finish the box, we're going to add one of those flowers to it again. And so with the perspective tool still selected, make sure that that right grid is still selected on your widget. And take that last red flower off the corner of the artboard and drag it onto that tall box just above the text. Now you're going to go Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. It's way large. We're going to need to zoom into it, and then with the perspective selection tool, Shift, and in Mac it's Option, otherwise it's Alt, drag the upper right corner towards the center so that it shrinks it down. You want a width of approximately 1/2 inch. Gone too far. Oh, I guess that's about close. Oh, right on. Release your mouse and then release the modifier keys. With the perspective selection tool, you're also going to have to drag this over a little bit so that it's placed in a better place than where I had it. We need to drop this down farther. Sorry. Pull that down. So now we're going to run the text over the top of the flower. So select the text and Object, Arrange, Bring to Front so it overlays it. You go to Select and Deselect, and go to View, Fit Artboard in Window, and make sure you save at this point.